On the heels of that debate, political analyst John Dadian joins us this morning with his thoughts on yesterday's debate and what we can expect in the race for the mayor's seat. John, thank you so much for coming in. We do appreciate it.
Good morning.
Okay, just coming off yesterday, what did you think? How did each side do?
It's pretty exciting. I thought it was going to be even this early, a little bit more hard-hitting. They both, got a few points in, et cetera, but it was pretty almost sedate, et cetera, but they clearly advanced their points.
Now, what's interesting here is both of them are going to be fighting to pick up Bonnie Dumanis's and Nathan Fletcher's votes, which tend to be a little bit more moderate. You know, obviously Nathan Fletcher turning independent halfway through his campaign. Do they have to stay a little more even-keeled in order to be able to do that?
Not necessarily, and keep in mind, in addition to the points you just raised, there'll be new additional voters that didn't vote in the primary that will vote in the general, that aren't as high as propensity for people who vote in every election. So those really are the pockets that they're going for.
Talk about the recent poll.
What they're saying, and this was done after the primary election, is that it's a dead heat right now, and that doesn't surprise me at all. And of course, the main point when you look at a poll, I always say a poll is nothing more than a snapshot in time. And the real point is they call it a campaign for a reason. Campaign really hasn't started yet, and both these campaigns are going to be very well funded. You're going to see again new records being broke, I think, for fundraising.
What's interesting here is we almost could not have two more opposite candidates in this race for the mayor's seat. Either you love them or you hate them kind of thing. And how will that play out as we get closer to Election Day?
In all aspects, on personality, they're different. On the issues, they're different. And ironically, even though supposedly the pension issue Prop B passed in the primary, Filner opposed it, so it's still going to be an issue in the general. So yeah, it's there. Some people have used the term polarizing for both candidates. I don't think that's fair, but clearly they have their hardcore supporters.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's switch gears now and talk about the national race for the president's seat. Obama and Romney both campaigning in Ohio yesterday on opposite ends of the state.
There's basically 9 swing states that really are going to determine the election. California's not one of them. California clearly is a blue state. Ohio absolutely is the main one. And you're going to see them spend a lot of time in Ohio. And you're right. Just coincidentally, as opposite ends of the state, I think you'll see them cross over a few times during the campaign.
What did you think about what each of them had to say yesterday about why there are problems with the economy? Romney blaming Obama, saying he hasn't done enough during his time in office. Obama blaming the Bush era, essentially, for the problems. Is this something that we're just going to continue to hear as we get closer to November?
I think you are, but I think they're going to adjust it a little bit, because what the polls are showing are that people are starting to resonate the fact that Obama has been in 3 years. And he did say that, sometimes you make these pledges as a candidate, then all of a sudden you got to fulfill them when you're the elected official. And he said he would turn the economy around in his first term, and a lot of people don't feel that's happened yet. So I think the president's, the incumbent's re-election has to adjust their message quite a bit.
We touched on this just a second ago, but how important is the state of Ohio in this election?
Oh, I think it's crucial, absolutely. Again, there's probably 9 what they identify as swing states, and Ohio might be the number one. Ohio and Florida are right up there. Virginia would be another one. There's going to be several ones that the definition of swing state is it could go either way, and that it could be the one to affect the election. Those are the 2 main components, and Ohio definitely fits that bill.
What else should we be keeping our eyes on as we head toward November?
Well, clearly the fundraising. I mean, that's going to be the impact. I think what we need to keep our eyes on as far as San Diegans is how the presidential race affects some of our local races. One of the hottest races in the country is right here in San Diego, the Brian Bilbray election. And again, a lot of aspects are going to affect that is the fundraising, because it's Democrat versus Republican, so both parties are going to dump in it, and the presidential turnout. Even though the president's going to win California, if a high Democratic turnout happens in that Bilbray congressional district, that could affect the race.
That will certainly be interesting to see what happens there. Were you surprised to see Lori Saldana concede already, or did you expect that to happen?
Well, she didn't concede actually for almost a week, so I was not surprised that she finally conceded, because when they finally got to the end of almost every vote being counted, it was pretty clear that it wasn't going to make a difference. No, she hung in there, and actually I think it irritated the Peters people. And again, we're talking about, I forget the final numbers, but about 700 votes. When you think about it, that's real close when it's determining people's future and our local who's going to be our representative.
Sure, absolutely does. John Dadian, thank you so much for coming in. We always appreciate your expertise on these topics.
Pleasure.
Certainly do appreciate it.